I didn't know if it was gonna come up for discussion.
Yes, you're signed up.
I can look on here.
That was so much fun.
This Kim's got mine with the changes.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have a quorum. Approval of the regular agenda and the consent agenda. Need a motion?
I so move.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Any comments? No public comment? Chief's report.
We did the approval on the agenda, didn't we? We did the approval on agenda. We also have to do approval of consent. We have approval on agenda and then approval on consent agenda.
That's two separate votes?
Yes.
Okay. Consent agenda, I need a motion to approve.
I wasn't here at the last meeting, but reading through the minutes, it looks good. And I did watch it on the screen, so,
You want that motion?
yeah, I move to approve the minutes.
And I'll second it.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. No public comment, chief's report.
October is typically Fire Prevention Week, and our firefighters spent a lot of time as normal out with the schools and other groups, providing fire safety education programs to the kids. Also, was our annual open house we had on the 18th, and again, it was we seem to get like lucky every year when we do the open house. A few years back, it was decided to back it down or extend it 1 week later than we used to, so that we didn't conflict with other people's open houses. And since we've done it, we've just been really, truly blessed with the weather. But it was nice. It was well attended, and you know, things went really well. It was well received. Firefighter Rob Stelzer attended a program that was held at Jackson Community College on joint public safety response to active shooter incidents. He attended that, and there's as I've said before, there's a lot of procedural changes that are going on between police and fire and how and EMS on how active shooter incidents are handled. So he attended that, and we have I've also purchased the DVD so that we can you know, provide that for the rest of our personnel. The firefighters some of our firefighters assisted Chelsea High School Band with their annual band extravaganza. They typically help like with seniors and help get them around and things like that. And there's a letter or a card that was sent that was thanking the department for our assistance. We also provided standby EMS service for the home football games. And then our pre-incident planning process continues. Our procedure, shift 1 is working on the shopping center. The shopping centers that are located on South Main, where the post office is at. Shift 2 is doing the shopping center across the street where Family Farm's at. And then shift 3 is doing the developing the plan for Jiffy and their properties. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for October. Yes, sir.
What is the plan for Jiffy? Specifically, what are you doing there?
We're doing, we're going through buildings, we're getting, we're doing a pre-plan of it, getting all the information on on what, all the various sites that they have, and then coming up with a plan, a response plan with that, so.
For how to deal with a fire there, or how to deal with
It'll
any
be with
emergency?
everything. It'll be an overview of the entire incident, or the entire properties, of what they store there, what they use there, and then we will develop the plan from there. We have a pre-incident plan that identifies all the contacts, all the hazards that are present, you know, things like that, kind of a pre-incident planning. So if we have an incident there, we have an idea of, you know, what we're dealing with and, you know, who to contact, so.
If I may, Jim?
Yes, sir.
I'll follow up on that, I think it's a good point, Kurt. Back when, 20 years ago, when I came into this community, the fire department, I don't know if it was like every 4 years or every 5 years, they would go in, if businesses changed hands or there was improvements, they would go and inspect just to see the layout, be somewhat familiar with the different businesses in town. I don't know, does the fire department do that now?
We still are, we have kind of restarted that with our pre-plans. With Central Dispatch, we're able to incorporate some of that information into, so that we get some pre-arrival information. And if we have like alarms there, we have contact information. So yes, we're doing it, not necessarily as they change hands, but we're trying to, what we're trying to look at is some of the larger buildings and trying to address, starting with some of our bigger hazards and bigger buildings and then working back from there, so.
The reason I ask is that we've got a number of new residential properties in our downtown, the old police station and all and stuff like that, that I know that, are we possibly looking at downloading layouts of floor plans for?
That's what, so that we have it available to us on, through electronic.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
So
Right on.
they can enter the stuff electronically and then we can extract it electronically.
Very good. Thank you.
Jim, just to
Yes.
follow up on that, there was a citizen a couple years ago that was quite adamant that the ladder truck that we have is not tall enough, so he brought up all kinds of concerns between CAFA and Jiffy. And I thought, you know, maybe we're not gonna extend the length of the ladder. What we can do is have CAFA put together an emergency response plan. So if something does happen there, we're prepared. And then hopefully that would help this citizen with his concern that we don't have the right equipment for that one facility.
Good, he came in for a variance hearing, and I explained to him how ladder trucks work, and he seemed satisfied after that, that its capabilities were there.
Good.
Okay, unfinished business. No other questions for the chief? Unfinished business, chief's evaluation. Please get those to me by next meeting. If you don't have it done yet, try and get it to us by next meeting.
It was an evaluation form that was
To me.
emailed to us last month.
Okay, and I'll have to look for the email. I know that I saw it, but I'll look for it.
You didn't get a printed?
It was
No,
also
I
in the
had to
packet.
print my own.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I printed my own.
Okay.
You have any
Yeah,
extras?
I had it, so I don't have it with me.
Okay,
No, I have that one, so we'll go through that.
you have that one?
I didn't recognize it when it was in my package because I wasn't here at the meeting last month, so it didn't say CAFA or anything on it.
It's put together by your service. That's where the form comes from.
Okay. Good.
Tom, just for clarification in the chief's evaluation, is each board member supposed to do that, or just,
Each municipality
Yeah.
okay,
submits one copy.
all right.
So, yeah,
So Craig has that.
Craig should have a copy to work on.
In my case, I'm gonna have to defer, obviously, but I'm gonna contact Ron, since he, to help with that scenario, since he knows the answer, if that would be possible, or okay.
Sure.
At this
Was
point.
the
Any word on
alternate, I believe, in the sheet.
an appointee?
No, not at this point. But I'll keep you informed. I'll keep you abreast of the situation, promise.
So here was the alternate.
Okay. You wanna get rid of me already, huh? Okay, fine.
No, we'll let you stay the rest of the meeting.
Okay, thanks.
No other questions about the evaluation. The proposed 2016 budget.
Went back and made the changes that were requested at the workshop and came up with a bottom line that shows we're about almost $17,000 over what we're taking in. And based on the workshop, the thought process was to use reserve funds to cap on that and possibly look at an alternative plan for the future.
Well, the other, yeah. Basically, it was overtime, which was underestimated by roughly $17,000 based on what happened this year. That's a variable that's pretty hard to control. You never know what incidents overlap, how much overtime you're gonna get, but I would rather have a realistic number and go into this budget knowing we're gonna have a shortfall than just try and fudge the numbers to make it look balanced. As the year progresses, we can go through, possibly shift some money if we need it into overtime, but right now the prediction is about $17,000 shortfall.
Yeah, in our work session, when we did discuss this, it's, actually CAFA has spent more money than it has taken in the last 5 years in a row. In each of our audits, every year, we spend more than what we take in. We are currently not funding a capital asset account, for equipment. So the money that we have in reserves, we're dipping into that every year instead of building that account so that when the day comes that we need a new fire truck or something, that we would have the funds there. So that's the current situation, and
Going in the wrong direction.
yes.
And we have been for a number of years.
That's it.
Last year was very severe, but even without last year's new station, we don't come close to taking in enough to cover the bills.
Okay. There are numerous reasons why that has been in the past. A lot of it is, the downturn in the economy. When I first started here, the Safer Grant, that caused us to go in the hole quite a bit. Then it was legal expenses that caused us to go in the hole quite a bit. If we can avoid some of those pitfalls that we've had in years past, maybe we can make this budget work.
But even at that, it's strictly an operation.
It's an operational budget.
An operational budget. It has nothing in it for capital maintenance, replacing equipment as it becomes outdated.
So we're status quo and not moving forward with any future.
Well, no, we're falling back.
I see the plan and the needs, and you're prioritizing stuff, Jim. So if I understand it, Herb, what you're saying is that after the recession, we're still trying to bounce back with the property values to help with that millage from the different jurisdictions to compensate, and we're still behind the 8 ball, getting back
before, prior to that, correct?
That's part of it, and the other part of it is, like, one big expense, we're looking at the air packs. They've just gotten so old, they need to be replaced, and we don't have the money to replace them. You know, they've been fine up till now, but they need to be replaced. We've got trucks getting older.
Okay.
I would like to put together a committee, or, you know, something to look at a capital maintenance millage to help us cover this shortfall. Any volunteers?
We're just setting up with a sunset clause in it for, so it wouldn't be, just getting it back into line and then dropping it, is what you're
Well,
thinking?
it'd be a renewable millage. I mean, your capital maintenance is so much per year.
Right.
If you depreciate your equipment and everything. So whether we wanna add on to our millage or do a one-time, you know, 5-year millage, that's something we'd have to decide.
Okay. Well, based off of looking what the budget proposed and actuals, 17,000 based on the budget amendments that can be done over the year, that's on the edge of workable. I agree.
It's close.
But if it keeps going in that direction, it definitely needs to be addressed, you know.
Oh, maybe we should put Craig on that committee.
You know, it's been-
Who has spearheaded the millage committees in the past?
The board chair and myself.
That's what you want to hear.
And anybody else that they can, you know, hook into it. So.
Gary Adams helped a lot.
Yeah, Gary has helped,
a lot on it.
and so has Ed Greenleaf helped
Yeah,
a lot,
from Gary.
at least in support.
Yeah, they went out. and
They don't want to
helped.
be necessarily,
Yeah, and getting the information
Yeah.
out to the public.
yeah.
Just a comment, it seems like that's something that each township should discuss with their board at a public meeting.
Mhm.
Right.
This way, the public is aware that there's a need
Mhm.
and that they're putting together a plan for it.
Well, that's what I'd like to do.
Sure.
I'd like to get the word out and meet with people, meet with groups, show them why we would want to ask for this. We'd have to determine how much, you know, mills-wise. And get everybody educated so they can make a rational decision. I don't expect it would be a large millage, but it would, I don't want to spring it on anybody who
Right.
fear it is.
Mhm.
I'm agreeing with that. So with the point that Vince made, do we want to come up with a number before going to our different boards? Or do we just want to prepare them that this is being investigated, we're looking at as a proposal to our different boards in the near future, but.
Well, we're gonna send this budget back to the different boards.
Right.
And when presenting that, and the fact that it's gonna be a deficit budget, this is one of the alternatives we're looking at to help correct that. In fact, we've ran a deficit the last 4 years for sure. Five years. This is what we're looking at.
If you want to include 2015, then you can make that 6, and if you throw 2016 in there, then it's 7 years in a row.
So, yeah, we're looking at a 7-year continued deficit there. And of course, the alternative is to cut services. So that's why I say it's kind of a maintenance thing. If you want to maintain the level of service that we have now, we have to find more revenues. If you want to cut services,
Well, if we play with that game and then we start devaluating our insurance status,
right,
you know,
it
and so
costs you no
that's
longer.
got
Right.
value to this community and citizens as a whole, so.
Well, I think that, you know, the case can be made for the reasons why, because, I mean, just with some of the changes in the standards that require us to replace things, whether they're used or not, the age of some of the things, and, you know, it's like everything else, it's, you know, things have gone up, and, you know, we're looking at it from an operational standpoint, we're trying to also fund capital items off, you know, off of the operations budget, so it's.
I had a question, Jim. Before we had a millage, I know when we made our payments, certain money was allocated for equipment. And we ran on that budget, and we put money away every year towards trucks. But since the millages went in, we're not putting anything aside towards equipment like we used to.
Yes.
And we used to separate it out.
Well, and the way it used to work, Linda, is, and Dexter still really does this the same way that we, similar to what we used to, and that was based on use. And so, you know, in fact, Gary Adams, I think, was the one that came up with a 5-year average. And it looked at the call volume, and so from the usage and then the averages, and came up with a dollar figure. And so it was kind of like, some felt that they were being hijacked because you come up with a budget and say, this is your portion of it. And so, you know, the thought process was to go with a millage, and the problem, unfortunately, with that is that it does not generate the same kinds of revenue, because you're locked into the 1.8. So it gives you really no flexibility to, you know, for any increases. Primarily, the city was the one that was upset, because they were, you know, it was close to 50% of the calls and close to 50% of the budget. And so, you know, and along with that, when the authority was first developed, my understanding, the person that was involved with the setup and the development of it, I forget what the professor's name was from MSU, but, you know, his mindset was go to a millage and fund it through a millage. But then he was also the same person that was assisting Dexter and Scio with their merger, and now he has changed his philosophy and basically coming up with a format similar to what we had or what they had. So,
Okay.
But yes, we used to do that.
I think another big thing is not only the call volume, but, you know, you used to be primarily a paid-on-call department.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
And that pool of resources has pretty much dried up. You know, you just can't get people to put in the time for a paid-on-call department. So you go to full-time, and then you've got that expense. And so you've had a transition from, you know, a couple hundred runs a year with paid-on-call to 1,000 runs a year full-time.
Yeah.
Kudos to the boards of the past that were able
Yeah.
to put all that money
They did.
aside.
They did.
really did a good job getting all that money.
Oh, yeah.
We did.
It's keeping us afloat today. Any other budget questions? New business? I didn't have anything.
Just with the budget, are we ready to send it to the townships?
I'm comfortable with it.
I had in my calendar a meeting, was it next week, for a budget workshop, was that for
That
CAFA again?
was,
If needed.
Last week.
as if needed.
Oh, if needed.
So then, I would move to submit these budgets to the respective municipalities. Our next board meeting in December is the first Tuesday, so, I'd like to get it approved there.
I'll second that with discussion.
Moved and seconded, discussion.
Yeah. So if I understand, the board is satisfied with the current budget, the amendments have already been up to date, correct? So,
Is Kim gonna send us a final copy where we can, or do you just wanna make copies out of here?
I can email you
Okay.
that exact one that's in there.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Well, this should be a good copy here.
It is.
yes,
We
okay.
can make
It's the same
copies on
thing.
this.
Okay, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Now, when it's distributed to the respective boards, does it go directly to them, or is the responsibility of representatives
Representative.
dispersed? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
we'll have that to us, and then we'll take it on to our board.
Yeah, I prefer that Kim email it to everyone on the
Mhm,
Sylvan
yeah.
Township Board.
I would
Then,
prefer an email, yeah.
then they would have it if they,
I think that's, I
You can
agree, it
email it to
minimizes
me.
paperwork, and it's on record, I agragree.
Yeah, Kim, if you could email it, then we can forward to them ahead of time so they have a chance to look,
I can
get through
email
it.
it to all the clerks, if that works for
Okay.
everybody,
Okay,
and ask them to distribute.
okay.
Only one I have to take care of, working with Lima is a little different for that, but I can get that to Craig,
Yeah,
so.
And the city's email of all the council members online on the city's website, so,
yeah,
that helps.
for Sylvan to mail it directly to each one of them.
Okay.
Now, that will plan to go out when?
Today?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you got a meeting in 2 weeks, right?
actually 3 weeks, but,
3 weeks.
ours is.
but I was
the
just gonna
second
give them a heads up that it's coming, I'll send out something, so that's all. So it's like, where did they show up?
Tuesday. Ours is the second Tuesday.
Okay.
You want to send it by the end of the week?
Yeah, why don't we give it a week's time, and then we can get that information,
I'm sorry?
before it goes out to all the boards, email-wise, let us as representatives get emailed to our boards, be prepared for this coming in your email. So they're just not like, all of a sudden, there's a budget sitting in my,
Right, that's why typically send it to the clerks and let them.
Yeah, they can
distribute.
send, you can send it
That's,
to me.
that's how
and
it's
I
always
can-
been in the past.
oh, okay.
Typically send it to the clerks, they distribute it to their councils.
Mhm.
Well, Sylvan.
They know their meetings, they know their.
Gotcha.
so-
Sylvan's a little different.
The clerk would send it on, wouldn't
I have no
And
problem
the
with
clerk
that,
and some of the other people aren't even talking to each other, so.
Oh, no.
You know,
She
I
always
would
responds.
send it directly to each board member by the end of the business week, Friday, November.
you? You can send it to me, Kim, I.
Okay.
Or send it to them, and then we should be ready to approve it at our December meeting, correct?
Because I can forward it on and put comments in it to email to the board members, and I send it to them.
Okay.
Okay. That takes care of the budget. No new business. Reports. Thank you for your support in becoming chairman. Even for a short time, I've learned an awful lot. I don't think you appreciate the job that the chairman does until you sat there, because it's blowing my mind.
Not like just showing up chairing the meeting, is it?
Yeah. I'm getting plenty of phone calls. I guess my big thing is our job is to put fire trucks and firefighters on the scene where they're needed. And our biggest responsibility is the budget. You know, that's a big responsibility to the people and to the department. And it's gotta, income's gotta equal output. I'm very hawkish about that. You know, I would rather do without something than just constantly run a deficit. I don't run my budget that way, and I wouldn't wanna run the public's budget that way. So,
You can tighten the reins.
be aware, that's my point of view. Vice Chair wasn't here because he had a conflict. Do you have any comments? No?
Well, just one, you know, it's kind of in the back of my mind here, talking about this budget, it's about 1% over, it is a budget, and as budgets go, 1 plus or minus a percent is
It's not that great
it's
a
not
shape,
that great.
yeah.
We've been through 7 years of housing downturn, which is basically where you get our money from. So looking forward from here, it looks like housing starts are coming back, property values are coming up. So I'm not so much worried about the operational budget as I am about the equipment. You can have a great fire department with all the people, but if they don't have the equipment, you're out of luck. So I strongly believe that having a special, like you say, renewable type millage for equipment is a prudent thing to do, and I think that's where we should concentrate our efforts.
Seems to be the direction we're headed. Linda, anything?
Not right now.
Kirk?
I'd like to talk with Kim afterwards about this. We have some ideas on this contact list, some changes we'd like to see. So I don't think we need the whole board, but Linda and I have some ideas on how to. And then I'd also like to get a calendar, a CAFA calendar, and so talk with Kim about how we set that up. We should start every meeting with a calendar that says, during the month of November, this is what you need to be doing. The budget has to be approved and sent to townships. And this month, the chief's contract evaluation has to be done. Those major points, we should all have on a calendar. It repeats year after year, and then when new board members come on, they've got tools right away to go to work with. And that's all I have.
So you're saying like in the December packet, you would get the 2016 calendar? Or on a month-to-month basis?
I'm not sure about that. I'd probably leave it up to Kim or Chief how they wanna do it. I just, you know, on the back of my list here, I've got these notes, you know, all audit information has to be, we have to be ready for audit by the end of February. I mean, we lose that information. Audit letter coming back to management, we should be receiving that in July. Chief's performance appraisal, budget adopted, Chief's contract start and stop dates. The January, we know is the annual, we have 2 meetings, one's an annual. Those should all be listed on a, you know, a high-level calendar, so everybody can look at it and see what's coming the month ahead, you know, the next month, and that way we don't miss anything.
It'd be helpful to me too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also the annual events that the fire department's involved with, the fair, the parade, whatever. Needs to be, so we're all prepared as to what the demand is on the fire department at any given time during the year. And that's always planned out ahead, so we should have no problem with that.
That's all I have.
Announcements.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Certainly.
need to update my information on the alternate for those that would like to do that, and I can give you that information now, or, yeah,
Kim's working on this.
okay. But for immediate, the number that's in there is incorrect for me, but for my cell, I'll give that to you for immediate contact if need be. And that's 734-276-7891. So that's, Jim had to come find me. I didn't have the right number.
We know where you live.
Yeah, I know, I can't hide.
I think that's the number I had in my file, but what information I got on the sheet from was this one, so I swapped them out. I thought it had changed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any inclination from the council on appointing a permanent?
That will be done first of the year, first
Oh,
meeting of the year.
okay.
So that's
So they're
coming.
gonna postpone it till then?
It might happen in the December meeting, the 14th. So I'll have time to discuss that, and we'll see how that plays out.
Not that we don't want you here, but,
I get the message.
yeah.
Very subtle, Tom. I'm good at that.
We're being especially nice today, too.
Well, I know how mean you can be.
It's passive aggressive.
That's yeah, no, we'll get it so that someone's here.
Okay. Announcements, next meeting, December something.
December 16th.
December 16th. Final public comment. Anybody have anything they'd like to add? Motion to adjourn.
I also move.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're adjourned. Too late, Fred.
I think it's December
You blew it.
15th, isn't it?